Financial.
With Scotch Blue Platinum Painter's Tape, you can prep any angle quicker and easier. 3M's advanced poly material helps stop paint seepage, and it's easy to remove in one long pull, so you can pull off a better paint job. Scotch Blue Platinum Painter's Tape.
Saturday, before the super fight of champions Miocic and Cormier, Uriah Hall takes on the undefeated finisher Paulo Costa. Plus, the Irish Dragon roars. Paul Felder trades leather with Mike Platinum Perry. UFC 226 prelims, Saturday, 7 straight on FS1.
The FIFA World Cup is down to the quarterfinals as Suarez and Uruguay try to shut down Mbappe in France. Then Neymar beats Brazil in an epic showdown with Belgium. The FIFA World Cup continues on FS1.
The best of the best go head-to-head. On the biggest night of the summer, catch the greatest stars in the game for an unforgettable show. The MLB All-Star Game, July 17th on Fox. Get the TMZ app for iPad! It's got super high-resolution photo galleries, videos, and stories. Plus, it's easy to share through Facebook and Twitter. Go to the App Store and get the TMZ app for iPad. The price is free!
Welcome back to TV Sports. Evan here with Michael J. Babcock.
What's up, Evan?
Tom Brady had a rough day at the golf course the other day. He was with his parents. They were all out playing together. He was out hoping to have some impressive shots that I guess he could flaunt on Instagram like everybody else. Show off. Didn't go that way. It went the other way. And it's even funnier. Take a look. Shank left. Nope, he's mad. Here he goes again. Shank left again. Nope. And then finally, bang, one down the middle. Good. Finally, Tom Brady catches a break. Good for Tom Brady.
First of all, his shanks, his terrible shots are shots I would love to hit. They're honestly not that bad. And I think this is a ploy just to convince us that he's not perfect.
Yeah, by the way, I know Tom Brady's great, but I just got a TMZ alert that Easy and Halsey broke up.
No.
No, it's pretty sad. I like they were a good couple together. Remember they got arrested like doing cocaine in a foreign country together?
Yeah, once that happens,
they would just get through that. You can't break up, but it did, so sorry.
And that's a downer.
And also sorry to Tom Brady. Maybe next time. All right, that's going to do it for us here at TMZ Sports. Babcock, tomorrow's the 4th of July. What are you doing?
I'm not going to shoot off fireworks that I didn't buy.
That's very smart, dude. You know, every year people shoot off illegal fireworks and houses burn down. It's terrible. And Harvey Levin hates it because he has dogs that have very sensitive ears. And he always gets mad about that. Look, if you want to
live in the same neighborhood,
have a healthy and happy and safe 4th of July. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm a lawyer.
First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to First Things First on this July 4th Independence Day. I am Jenna Wolf. That is the Hall of Famer Chris Carter. That is Nick Wright. Thank you so much for spending your holiday with us on a very busy morning, even though it is a holiday. The NBA doesn't know that. They just keep rolling along.
Be careful with your fireworks today. I say this as the son of a fireman. Spent many a 4th of July watching these guys go out and put out fires, roof fires. Be careful with your fireworks. Have a good time.
You know what?
Also, as a juvenile delinquent, set a lot of stuff on fire.
Wait, you or me?
You.
Okay, this is true. Sometimes I have putting out fires I set, but that doesn't matter. The point is, be careful today and have a good day.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about my outfit. Thank you, Christine. Wardrobe, Dawn on my makeup, first time Dawn.
See,
Let's do
you
this.
got a little
I'm ready
white,
for
you
the
got
show.
some red, I got a little blue.
We
You
did
were
it very
saying,
nice. Nah, that's okay. My brother's a plastic surgeon. There's always a bunch of firework accidents that happen on this day. Like
he had to get his hand put back together.
Exactly.
Absolutely right.
You want me to start the show?
Yes,
That's what the people are here for.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
We'll start in the NBA, where we are learning more about the one-year deal that sent DeMarcus Cousins to the Warriors. Or in other words, the best got better. According to a report, the Lakers could have had him for a similar price, similar deal, but they politely declined. Thank you, no thank you. Opting to sign free agent veterans like Lance Stevenson and Rajon Rondo instead. CC, what do you think? Did the Lakers make a mistake passing on Boogie Cousins?
I don't think they made a mistake. I think the Lakers, they've been going about this the right way. And we as basketball fans have to make sure that we just don't, because you mentioned the Warriors. You can't make every move with the Warriors in mind as far as, oh, this is going to get us closer to the Warriors, because if you do that, you can make a lot of mistakes. This is not the off season that they just have to get everything right. Magic Johnson has said it's going to be patience. All right, they started off last year with the draft class. Ball, Kuzma, they got that part right. They made it through the season. They got some great experience. They have the biggest free agent acquisition that they've gotten since,
Shaq. And Shaq was a trade, like you could argue, biggest free agent acquisition ever, but biggest player acquisition in line with acquiring Wilt, Kareem, Shaq, and now LeBron.
LeBron has said he matched Magic Johnson when he said it's going to take some patience. LeBron realizes that when he went back to Cleveland, it was going to take patience. They ended up getting to the finals the first year. Didn't expect that. So you can make some bad mistakes by trying to go out. And I know, is it a mistake if they don't sign him? No. But is it a mistake if they don't sign him, then he goes to the Warriors, and you're like, if he didn't go to the Warriors, this definitely wouldn't be our lead question. But I don't feel as if they made a mistake, because long term, you can rent certain players. But Boogie Cousins, knowing he's only going to be there for part of the season, knowing you have a very, very young roster that is still trying to form itself, to me, Boogie is not the guy that I'm going to take a chance on around all those younger players, knowing that you're going to lose them. Now, with him going to Golden State, they can get a Boogie next season to a long-term contract with LeBron, and we can see if he's healthy. We can see if he can follow up that second year of not being a distraction to his team the way he was this year for the Pelicans, being a stellar teammate. So I believe that they did the right thing staying off of Boogie on a one-year deal.
So the one-year deal is the key part here, because when we talked about this before Boogie signed with the Warriors, and I was all tied up in knots about whether or not the Lakers should pursue him, the reason that I ultimately said I don't know is I wouldn't have wanted Boogie on a 3 or 4 year deal, and I wouldn't have wanted Boogie on a 1 year deal. If he would have taken the two, by the way, the deal the Pelicans offered him after the injury during the season, 2 years, $20 million a season, that to me was the Goldilocks zone. That to me was the perfect zone, because a multi-year deal.
Now, Nick, this was before injury.
No, this was post-injury, before free agency.
Because most people could see, okay, well, maybe if it's before the injury.
No,
this was after. He was still looking for a max deal.
Exactly. It was after the injury, but before free agency opened, that the Pelicans offered him that deal. So why does 2 years make more sense to me than 1? Because I would have significant concerns if I signed Boogie Cousins to a 1 year deal, knowing that he's not going to be healthy until around Christmas, that also knowing that he is going to want to go out and prove he is a max player. The only team that I think can take him on this deal, a 1 year deal, and feel great about it is Golden State, because A, they don't need him. B, he knows he is sacrificing touches and money and opportunity just to get a ring and to prove himself.
There's one other team I'd like to go add to that list, because I believe he could have gone to Boston.
On a 1 year deal?
Well, they definitely reached out to him. They had communication with him. But when you look at Boston's roster, Kyrie would be coming back. Gordon Hayward will be coming back. They've had a great deal of patience. Gordon got hurt last year. So it's a roster with a number of talented players, so he could take his... They fill the bill as far as you could take your time in coming back for 1 year.
I just mean the concern that when you get Boogie back, if he doesn't have the long-term security, is he instantly going to try to prove to everyone, I'm still 25-12, run it through me? When he goes to Golden State, he knows that's not the way their offense is going to run. He makes that sacrifice. I didn't like Boogie going to Golden State for a lot of reasons. That doesn't mean he was a perfect fit at that contract for every team. And I have to remind people, LeBron just last year had to go through how many stops and starts of the season, right?
Oh, yeah.
This trade. And then he's not healthy. And then he is healthy and you do that trade. LeBron's going to play amongst guys he's never played with, totally new roster. And if you have Boogie coming in, by the way, the Lakers also on a one-year deal, wouldn't have the ability to go over the cap to re-sign him. So it would be a rental for half a season, and to have, all right, LeBron's getting used to playing with Ingram or whomever, and now Boogie comes in. Like, that, I wouldn't have hated the deal had they done it, but I understand why they said it's not the perfect.
And Nick, you would, what's your thought on, okay, Boogie and his question marks as far as his personality being drastically different than the personality of Rondo and Lance and their influence in this locker room on these younger players?
Listen, I think that it's one thing. If Lance is going to be the 9th man on the roster, I think the 9th man can only have so much influence. I think Rondo is brought in because he has remade his image in the last 2 years, and because they think he can be a good insurance policy for Lonzo. Boogie is considered and is one of the 15 best players in the league. The influence he has is so much greater from a positive or negative standpoint than the other young guys.
So I don't fully buy the 1 year reason why the Lakers wouldn't want Boogie, just because they did bring Lance and Rondo in for 1 year. So if LeBron's looking for a team that's going to stay for a while, he's going to have to rely on the young guys. But my question to you is how much, and you brought this up, how much is LeBron's influence now on bringing players in? How much is LeBron consulted with on who's going to come in? How much does this kind of, have the feel that maybe LeBron had his hands on the desire not to play with a guy like Boogie Cousins?
No, I think it's so easy to be able to blame. We've seen this wherever LeBron went, that he was getting blamed as far as the move. We have to understand that the man who's making the basketball moves has a better resume than LeBron James, and it's Magic Johnson. All right, it's not the same situation last year. Kobe, Altman, a young general manager. So people, when you have a star like that, people always want to be able to say, oh, he's making decisions. LeBron wants to be put in a position a lot like he was in Miami, where you had someone who was running those things, but by the way, bring those things to LeBron, not to be approved, but just let him know some of the things they're thinking about. I believe that's the best way to move forward, and that's the reason why LeBron signed with the Lakers so quick, was because he must have a great deal of faith in Magic Johnson.
This was just about him not fitting.
I think it was well, first, let me just respond real quick. I know LeBron signed off on the Rondo thing, so I do think they are doing their own due diligence, and then with a guy like Rondo, who has posed, who has had rivalries with LeBron, there's a famous picture of Rondo posing with a lady wearing a LeBron as a bleep shirt. There might be a little bad blood. Are you cool with this? But as far as the fit, I do think it's also important to know it is easier for the Lakers to have Boogie Cousins on this team in 2 or 3 or 4 years without him being on the team next year on a 1-year deal.
Yes.
You can do a sign and trade.
If you do sign him, the chance of you getting him back are really slim. Especially
if they believe they are going to get Kawhi. And the Lakers' #1 objective this offseason was to get LeBron. They got that, and while we all just found out they had it locked in a couple days ago, it seems like the Lakers were very confident they have had this locked in for some time. Every move since then has been about making sure they can get Kawhi Leonard. And with what CC's reported about Kawhi not feeling like super teams are the thing in the NBA,
yes,
they also have to do the math of, does adding Boogie make Kawhi more likely to want to be a Los Angeles Clipper rather than a Los Angeles Laker?
That's a real question right there. And I believe that Kawhi he would go away from the attention. Right? He would go away from the circus atmosphere. He doesn't mind playing with LeBron, doesn't mind playing for the Lakers, but he doesn't want it to be a circus. He doesn't want to have, okay, we're trying to acquire all these. But Kawhi believes he's the best player in the world. He would love to play with LeBron and just go at the rest of the league.
And I think the league believes that Boogie Cousins on a 1-year, $5 to $8 million deal would be a disgruntled player, would feel like he got screwed over by injury. So theoretically, if you're going to get the perfect version of Boogie, even for only half a season, of course that's worth $6 million. But not if he is going to be a disruption. The Warriors,
and not if you're not going to be able to sign him long term.
The Warriors feel like I'm not reporting this. I believe the Warriors feel like There's no downside here. This is the type of money that Aaron Baines gets. If it doesn't work, we can cut him.
Come in when you come in, play when you're ready to play.
And we don't need you.
Right.
Like the Lakers would be relying on Boogie when he comes back to be a very quality player.
All right, we're going to take a break now. Coming up, let's talk some football on the other side. Are the Dallas Cowboys contenders? According to Pro Football Focus, they are. That's next on a July 4th edition of First Things First.
Pro Football Focus, see? It's your guys now.
Oh, yeah, I was
Smart guys.
Oh, yeah, I went.
Oh, you were highlighting your...
Friday night on Fox. Big Three is live in prime time as Baron Davis, Nate Robinson, and Meta World Peace look to make their mark in Oakland. Big Three live Friday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox.
No matter who rides for you, there are over 10,000 Allstate agents riding sweet. Call one today. Are you in good hands?
People come to the Oasis because of all the things they can be. Durant.
Clark Kent.
Lex Luthor.
Aaron Jordan.
Batman. Shocking. But they stay because of all the things they can do.
Ready Player One now.
Captain.
Dave.
Captain.
How does Kind make a great tasting protein bar? We crack some nuts, add rich dark chocolate, spread crunchy peanut butter, and pack in 12 grams of protein and 4 awesome flavors. Kind protein from real food.
Every time a customer walks through the door, we promise to take care of the car. There's no shortcuts in life. If you're gonna do something, do it right the first time. Firestone, complete auto care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Starting now, everyone gets the plan they want. Mom gets the unlimited she needs, Dad gets the unlimited he needs, the kids get the unlimited they need. Go mix and match. Sounds awesome.
One family can now get different unlimited plans, starting at $40 per line on the network you deserve.
More and more people are finding themselves in a Chevy for the first time. Now you can too, during the Chevy 4th of July sales event. Now through July 9th, get 10 to 20% below MSRP on your favorite Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. That's over $6,700 on this Chevy Equinox. This 4th of July, discover why Chevy is the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
I've been making blades here at Gillette for 20 years. There's a lot of innovation that goes into making America's #1 shave. Precision machinery and high-quality materials from around the world. Nobody else even comes close. Now starting at $7.99. Gillette, the best a man can get.
It's 99-cent Kids Nights at Golden Corral. Now kids eat and drink for just 99 cents. Under a buck. Woo! It's prime time for family time. Come on now. Golden Corral. Your choice. Rules.
Introducing the all-new Safety Toe Work Division from Skechers. Now you can work even smarter, safer, and more comfortably all day long with a memory foam insole and a roomy, relaxed fit toe area. The all-new Safety Toe Work Division, only from Skechers.
Your hair's so soft. Did you use Head & Shoulders 2-in-1?
I did, Mom. Wanna try it? It intensely moisturizes your hair and scalp and keeps you flake-free.
Manolo, look at my soft hair. I should be in the shot now, too. Try Head & Shoulders 2-in-1.
With the new Fox Sports app, now you can stream every match from anywhere you are.
The best summer getaway could be right in your hands when you upgrade the Spectrum TV Silver.
Oh, awesome. Today we make it happen.
With over 70 additional HD channels, you'll get to spend the summer with the latest movies. Let's play. The most addictive shows. And so much more. Upgrade to Spectrum TV Silver by calling 844-807-2726 now.
Jack Links presents Running with Sasquatch. Science says there are 2 ways to live a life. Embrace your wild side, or embrace your "these stretchy pants make me look sporty" side. You eat the protein of Jack Links steaks made with 100% beef, or you become the protein. Because in life, you either run with Sasquatch, or you run from Sasquatch.
First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Catch baseball's biggest stars for an unforgettable show from the nation's capital. The MLB All-Star Game on July 17th only on Fox, or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. And here's the best part: we will be there live.
Yep.
Our show.
Monday Tuesday, live in D.C.
Come say hi. All right, we're going to get to the Cowboys in a second. But first, Jordan Bell. Sick with that dunk. Summer League action.
Very, very athletic. And you see what would he do for the Warriors? Stuff he can do. Putbacks, play energy on the defensive end. Very good athlete.
He loves these off the backboard dunks. Remember, he threw one to himself in Summer League day before yesterday. Didn't get it. This one by its
Yeah, he prefers it from someone else.
More NBA Summer League. Trae Young coming off a rough start. Beautiful floater over two defenders, but another rough outing for Trae Young.
Nick, that's your guy, bro.
Last night. Listen, his Summer League's first couple games, he was better in game 2 than he was in game 1.
Not by much.
I would say by quite a bit. He was 1 of 5 from 3. Supposed to 1 of 11 from 3.
Alright, he made one. On to the World Cup. Yuri Mina of Colombia with a header in stoppage time to tie this game with England.
Mina is a tremendous defensive player. He's come up big in this whole World Cup. He scored a couple goals on set pieces like this, corner kicks. Tallest athlete that they have on the team. Nice leaper in the back there, Nick.
You thought Colombia might be able to steal this. They didn't have their best player, James Rodriguez.
Oh, England would not be denied. Eric Dyer with the penalty kick goal to send England to the quarterfinals, where they will face Sweden. Love football.
All right, I must admit, yesterday I was a little annoyed with Jenna Wolf because she was bragging that her team was the one still left, but they just hadn't played their round of 16 games.
And then what happened?
But then England advanced. So my team knocked out in the quarters Mexico. England keeps going. And, by the way, with Spain being out of the tournament, England all of a sudden...
A lot of people talking about
brackets opened up for England quite a bit here. Another penalty kick shootout in the quarters. England keeps it moving.
Thanks, Nick.
No problem.
Moving on to our version of football. NFL season just months away. A lot of eyes on the Dallas Cowboys, looking for a bounce back season after failing to reach the playoffs in 2018. According to Pro Football Focus, they should have the roster to do it. Based on their grades from last season, the Cowboys have the 8th best roster in the NFL. CC, you buying Cowboys as a top 10 NFL team after what you saw last year?
I don't know about a top 10 NFL team. They have some serious concerns. Lack of playmakers on a consistent basis. Who's going to be the number 1 receiver? Who's going to move the change for them? I think they'll be very, very good running the football. Dak in his 3rd year, how efficient is he as a quarterback? We saw last year him take a couple steps back after a sensational rookie season. So I don't think they're a top 10. I don't know about their defense.
Right. That's my... So I look at... The Cowboys are 8. The Rams are 9.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not trying to parse 8 versus 9. But the Rams have, obviously, a better D lineman than anyone on the Cowboys and Aaron Donald. You could argue Ndamukong Suh's as good as anyone on the Cowboys. They obviously have 2 better corners than anyone on the Cowboys, and Talib and Peters. They have a better receiver than anyone on the Cowboys, and Brandon Cooks. Oh, but the Cowboys have Zeke. The Rams got Todd Gurley. And so it is the Cowboys have the number 1 offensive line and arguably the number 1 running back. But is that enough to raise your team to a top 10 status? I don't know about that.
Well, this is the thing I would be concerned with. If you tell me, Chris, you can have one of these teams over Dallas, and which team would go the furthest as far as the playoffs? I believe the Rams
These are all teams behind them that you're talking about. Go ahead.
I believe that their roster might be better based on PFF, what they're saying. I can stick with that, but the Rams, the Jags are number 10. I would take the Jags, and their playoff chance is better. Seattle, not necessarily their playoff, but if you tell me in the regular season, I would take Seattle. And if you tell me you're going to give me Aaron Rodgers, I don't care who's with them. I'm going to take them over Dallas. So those are the teams ranked behind them. You know, Dallas being a top 10 team. If they finished in the top 10 this year, that would be a good season for the Cowboys.
Dallas lose Jason Witten and they lose Des Bryant, and yet they still are now even more primed to do better this year. How does this team look different than it did last year? Besides getting Zeke back.
Those are the two biggest different looks. I mean, it's basically the same offensive line. I think that getting Zeke back is the key.
Enough to propel them to number 2.
No, you can't. There's no one. I don't know. I don't know anyone in the football world that's saying Dallas has gotten better without Witten and without Dez. Like, no, there's nothing saying they're ready to propel them going forward. No. Besides saying that Zeke will be there for the full season. Tyron Smith, the left tackle, he is healthy. He's one of the best left tackles in pro football. He would be better, but there's nothing that's saying, oh, they're getting ready to propel the Cowboys to be. They were not a playoff team last year.
Right.
So what did they do this offseason to make them a playoff team? Those are the things we're questioning.
And listen, PFF, I know you spent some time there, and I love PFF. I was an early adopter. My guy Sam Monson, back when they only had like 3 employees, and I was doing local radio because it gave guys like me an idea, a way to figure out, wait, who are the good centers in the league other than the Pro Bowler?
Yes.
Who are the good interior defensive linemen who aren't racking up sacks? Like, so I respect what they do, but one of the reasons the Cowboys, I think, are going to be favored more by that metric community than the general football analyst is, you can't give equal weight to, okay, well, the Cowboys have an elite right guard. And so that's going to offset their average quarterback. Like, Zach Martin has almost the same PFF grade as Aaron Rodgers. Okay, well, that's great. But Zach Martin, we all know,
he's not going to touch the ball.
Right, he's not going to have the impact of that. So the Cowboys have a lot. They have as many A-plus players as almost any team in the league.
And most of those being on the offensive line.
Well, all of them, except for their running. Like, you might call, some people might call DeMarcus Lawrence an A-plus player. I would maybe have a little bit lower. PFF loves DeMarcus Lawrence, got him a 94 out of 100. But they don't have, I'd rather have my great players almost diversified.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Spread out. And that's what the Cowboys don't have.
PFF was also much higher on Dak Prescott than I think a lot of media folk were last year, and I think they rank him higher as being a bigger factor and focus. Him, Jason Garrett, are those two components where we're going to have to look at?
Right, but one thing that in PFF they're not taking into consideration when we're watching the games, Zeke's out of the lineup. They're not taking into consideration all the pressure that we put on Dak to perform like some of the other great quarterbacks. So, yes, I believe in the numbers, and when they do the numbers, he is solid. But in year number 3, he can't play that way. He's got to play a lot better because they have less. You miss Witten's not there. Dez is not there. Terrence Williams got to play better football. They have him ranked, I think, as a 53 ranked player. You can't be that and be sometimes going to be the number 1 guy and definitely their number 2 wide receiver.
And what the Cowboys have going against them is the team that's number 1 on this list, and the team that's going to be number 1 on most people's list is in their division, in Philadelphia. And so if you have a team that seems to be as solid as Philly is on both sides of the ball with an amazing quarterback and a damn good backup, and all of a sudden, okay, so now, instead of competing with 4 teams to win your division, which I know is their goal going into the year, and I can't discount them for that, what you're really doing is you're competing with the rest of the NFC for one of 2 wildcard spots. You're competing with the tougher conference for one of the 2 wildcard spots. You can't sneak into the playoffs out of the NFC East when Carson Wentz is there. And so how can, and we already know the NFC is the tougher of the 2 conferences. PFF's got an 8th in football, but 5th in the NFC, which speaks to the depth of power in that conference.
All right, let's take a break. Back to basketball on the other side. Coming up, are the Sixers now emerging as the favorites to land Kawhi? That is next. First things first.
Hey, Philly, don't do it.
Be careful now, Philadelphia.
Don't do it.
More and more people are finding themselves in a Chevy for the first time. Now you can too during the Chevy 4th of July sales event. Now through July 9th, get 10 to 20% more MSRP on your favorite Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. That's over $6,700 on this Chevy Equinox. This 4th of July, discover why Chevy is the most awarded and fastest growing brand in the last 4 years overall. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Copper Tone Sport, proven to protect street skaters and freestylers. Stops up to 97% UV. Lasts through heat, through sweat. Copper Tone, proven to protect.
It's the most dangerous motorcycle jump ever attempted. Eagle tried it and failed. Live from Las Vegas, Travis Pastrana will risk it all with the most dangerous jumps of his life. Eagle Live, the 3-hour event on history. Check your local listings. Nobody drinks, so this guy sweats.
Degree Advanced Protection works up to 125 degrees, but be careful, it won't let you down.
With Scotch Blue Platinum Painter's Tape, you can prep any angle quicker and easier. 3M's advanced poly material helps stop paint seepage, and it's easy to remove in one long pull, so you can pull off a better paint job. Scotch Blue Platinum Painter's Tape.
Captain. Hey. Captain.
All new tonight. It's the final match of the season.
I've got to leave every bit of blood, sweat, tears I've got in that cage.
And we saved the best for last.
Hands down with the best fights I've ever seen in my entire life.
The Ultimate Fighter Undefeated. All new tonight at 10. And don't miss the Best of the Best Clash live from Vegas. Friday at 7 Eastern on FS1.
IHOP has gone from pancakes to burgers. Woo! Burgers with all natural black Angus beef. Burgers so burgering good, we even burgered our name. To IHOP. Combo starting at $6.99 with unlimited fries and a drink. IHOP.
In life, you either feed on Jack Link's jerky, a protein snack made with 100% beef, and you run with Sasquatch, or you run from Sasquatch.
Need fast pain relief that won't make a mess? Just pick and roll.
Icy Hot Lidocaine No Mass. Max strength lidocaine penetrates quickly to desensitize aggravated nerves.
No mess. Fast relief. Icy Hot Lidocaine, no mess.
Becca's smile is getting a lot of attention. That's because she goes beyond brushing with ACT mouthwash. ACT freshens breath and strengthens enamel, protects teeth from harmful acids, and helps prevent cavities. Protect your smile every day. Go beyond brushing with ACT.
Hurricanes, floods, fires, disasters are happening more frequently and causing more damage. Recovery can take months, even years, leaving many survivors hopeless. SBP's mission is to shrink the time between disaster and recovery. We rebuild homes and we work to build resilience in at-risk communities. Our work continues until recovery is complete. Please join us in paving the path home by donating today.
Meet the Jones family. Psyched up, geared up, and ready to tackle anything. And by anything, we mean mosquitoes, of course, because the Joneses sprayed, covered up, and picked light colors. Drain any standing water and avoid tall weeds. That's how they fight the fight and help prevent mosquito-borne disease. You too can keep up with the Joneses and fight the fight. Visit ohio.gov/mosquitoes to find out more.
This 4th of July, we celebrate America. On July 4th, 1776, the Second Continental Congress met in Philadelphia to adopt the final version of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, we getting a little history in on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, now I got my two passions colliding: American history and sports. We do those little vignettes every day.
God, you're so not a nerd. You're really not.
Listen, I like to be as Cece would say, a learned person. I wish I knew more about world history, but American history is kind of my area of study. That's cool. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Thanks for spending your 4th with us here on First Things First. Music's still going. You're feeling emotional. Good. Time for some stories to start your morning. Music changed. We need to move on. Brought to you by the unexpected energy of ExxonMobil. Tough news.
That thing out, make that my own.
Tough news for the New England Patriots. Wide receiver Julian Edelman lost his appeal and will serve his full 4-game suspension for performance-enhancing drugs. CC, how much will the Patriots miss Edelman in the early going?
Oh, they're going to miss him? Man, you do the crime, you got to do the time. And they ain't letting no, especially performance-enhancing drugs. When's the last time we seen one of these overturned? And they need him. His career, this is a big year in his career. Injured last season. Gronk might be his last year. I think, man, it could be a lot of cases in New England. This is their last season.
And this is a missed opportunity for Edelman. Cooks is gone. Yes. Is gone. And so I'm not surprised at all that this suspension got upheld. To Chris's point, you sometimes see street drug suspensions reduced. You very rarely see the PED suspensions reduced.
All right, to the NBA now. The Wizards are expected to sign Dwight Howard to a 1-year deal. Howard averaged over 16 points and 12 rebounds for the Hornets last season.
Say that again, Jenna. What do you average for the Hornets?
I'm telling you. 16 points, 12 rebounds.
Oh, okay.
You all right with that?
Yeah,
Nick, how much can Dwight help the Wizards?
He's better than Marcin Gortat. Now, that's a little combustible locker room. Dwight's never been a great locker room guy, but the guy who's replacing him, Gortat, he and John Wall really didn't like each other. So as long as he's better than Gortat in that regard, he's an upgrade off the court. And on the court, he's still better than Marcin Gortat. He's still one of the best rebounders in basketball. I think this is a good move by him.
You have to give Dwight at this point in his career credit for a really, really solid season. Also, he knows what he can do and what he can't do. Now, you might not like what he can't do because he is limited as an offensive player and, as you mentioned, not known as a great teammate. There's a reason why would Nick would say one of the 50 greatest players ever, to like 15 feet off the ground. As long as they keep it where it is right now, man, this kid can flat out play. Since the first day he came to Kentucky, the coaches told me, man, we got a really special player. He was only 17 then. So now he hits free agency. He could hit free agency at 22. You have to be able to lock him up. You can't teach what he has. It's not his jumper, it's his work ethic.
All right, finally, the Sixers remain a suitor for the services of Kawhi Leonard, even though it was reported Kawhi only wants to play in Los Angeles. According to reports, Philly is the team that can put together the best trade package for Kawhi. CC, should the Sixers even try and trade for Kawhi, knowing what we know and where he really only wants to play?
No, if you watched me on TV yesterday, if you heard me say anything about Kawhi, if you know, man, Kawhi Leonard is not playing basketball outside of, what is it, 90210?
Well, that's the Beverly Hills area. Okay. Yeah, one of those is the greater Los Angeles metropolitan area.
No, he spent most of his life in the San Diego area. He likes it. He realizes at this point in his career, it's probably the only time that he can take control to get to Los Angeles. He wants Los Angeles. Wants to play basketball there. Does not want to play a half a season, 2 weeks, or 2 games anywhere else. There's nothing against Philadelphia, Boston, or any of these other places that all have inquired about Kawhi. Kawhi has been straightforward in telling these teams and also the players, anyone who tried to communicate from LeBron James's camp to Kawhi. Kawhi let them know. Anyone from Paul George's camp who tried to talk to him or any of the other big stars out there, because a lot of them reached out to Kawhi, Kawhi let them know that I'm trying to play in Los Angeles. It wouldn't do you any good to trade for me if you're not in Los Angeles.
There's been a report that if Kawhi isn't traded, he could threaten to sit out the entire season. If he is traded to a non-Los Angeles team, do you believe that situation still applies? That he would threaten you, trade for you. He can't control where he's traded to, but if he were traded to Philly or Miami or Boston, would that threat to not play still apply?
That's San Antonio. If San Antonio and Greg Popovich are taking Kawhi and his group serious, they wouldn't trade him anywhere else. Because the other teams also know, man, I can't trade him when the guy said that he's not going to play anywhere but Los Angeles. So you're not going to get the best package. And San Antonio knows. So there's too much information. There's been too much communication as far as what he wants to do. And, Kawhi's got one of them strange injuries. Other things could linger on. You know, the player could be like, I don't know. He might, something had a setback.
Right.
Like,
which is not something I love. I don't love. I haven't. There's some things about how Kawhi's done this I don't love, but see how I feel about it. I can tell the audience how I feel about it, but it doesn't really matter to the situation. It doesn't impact the reality of the situation. And I mean, if he's so dead set on not playing in LA, or I'm sorry, only playing in LA. For the Clippers or the Lakers, yes, if the Spurs don't trade him, he could sit out. But he could do something that you haven't mentioned. Like, if he is traded, a trade doesn't go through till a guy passes a physical.
Oh.
And, Kawhi could just not show up. Like, and his physical is an important one. Sometimes physical is just, it's something you just have to do, but everyone's healthy involved. Kawhi could just not show up. Like, now, a lot of people are going to hear this and not like it. Think it's not honoring the contract. Go ahead, Jenna.
I'm one of those people.
Absolutely, and I'm one of the people.
Play out the year. You want to go to LA? Go to LA when you can. But it shouldn't be against the Spurs to not get everything you can for him now.
Listen. I tend to agree with you.
It's every side for himself. If Kawhi's doing what's best for Kawhi, the Spurs should do what's best for the Spurs.
What's best for the Spurs is not to trade him anywhere else but Los Angeles.
Why? They can get more for him somewhere else. That's better for the Spurs.
No, that's just on paper, Jenna. The 76ers are not going to offer him a better offer than the Lakers.
But that's only because of his stance that he only wants to play for the Lakers.
Yeah, you can't go into it looking at absent of the information.
Of course.
All these teams have the information. The 76ers are not going to give them more than Magic Johnson and the Lakers.
But it's still up to the Spurs to decide where. It's up to them to decide where they want to trade him for whatever reason. Even if it's to get him out of the West, they have the right to choose where he goes.
We're in a situation, and I think, oddly enough, your guy Danny Ainge is the best example of it, that the teams will be as cutthroat as possible. Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, no one says anything about them.
Plays through the injury, plays through his sister's tragic death.
Yeah, they got rid of him.
Got rid of him, and now what's he going to get in Orlando? Some mid-level deal. So I do understand from a player's perspective why the feeling would be, if they can be that cutthroat, I can be this cutthroat. I do think at some point we have to decide if these contracts are actual contracts or if we can just rip them up.
Thank you. That's what I...
No, I get...
Either honor it or don't honor it. But if you're not going to honor it, then it's not...
I get the frustration.
I'm going to tell you guys, I've been covering sports a long time. A lot longer than both of you. We're going to always be talking about ownership and what they do, and we don't even act like it's no big deal.
Oh, see.
They cut guys and tear up their contract. There ain't no honor, no contract with no owner. So a player, very seldom does he get this stronghold over an organization, and San Antonio would be foolish. R.C. Buford, you would be a fool. Pop, you would be a fool to trade Kawhi somewhere else besides Los Angeles.
Listen, when you're talking about ownership ripping up contracts, we're going to talk about Odell in a second. This is one of the reasons in football where ownership does rip up contracts all the time. I always support the player holding out. In basketball, where the contracts are guaranteed and they don't get ripped up, the guys get their money no matter what, it's a little bit different. But on this specific point, just real quick, on Philly, yes, Philly has the most assets. Philly has an unprotected pick from Miami in 2021. 2021 could be the double draft, the year the high school kids are available. Right. And like Philly has Saric, who is a perfect Spur. Fultz, if the Spurs like him.
So do they have more than the Lakers have to offer?
Well, they have at least equal, and maybe the Lakers are being stingy with what they want to offer. But the point I think that has to be understood is Philly knows what we know, which is that it's not necessarily even a one-year rental for Kawhi. It's that you can try to execute this trade. Kawhi does have the power to make it to where the trade gets voided. And you can dislike that he would do that. I can think that's probably not the best way to go about it. But if he's going to do this, then it's Clippers, Lakers. And we can talk about which of those two teams have the better assets. But the idea that Philly can make the best offer, I think there is no reality that exists where they will make the best offer because they know what Chris knows. They know what we've been talking about.
All right, let's leave it there. Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. is working out and playing a little football. In any other season, that's not news. But this offseason, OBJ waiting for a new contract, hoping to show world his ankle is fully healed. It's news. Beckham missed all but 4 games last year with the injury, but check him out. Working out. Guess it's him working on his game in a uniform last year. But he did in working out look like he was getting back to his old form. CC real optimistic, and there it is.
Watch this catch.
Moving. looks like he's not hampered by anything that held him back last year. How optimistic, Chris, are you for Odell to return to form?
Before Chris answers that question, can I make one observation? Because that went out on Twitter yesterday. Chris Carter, the only person in the world that saw that clip, and his response was, love the way you broke off the top of the route. Love, like everyone else is focused on, it's not just a one-handed catch, but it was almost like he made the football appear, like he just went and created it. You somehow, you love